So now jumping just a few years later, we've seen the longtime Jazz legendary coach Jerry Sloan make an abrupt retirement from the NBA due to his issues with Deron Williams, a point guard that was drafted right after Chris Paul. And even at various points of the early portion of his career, it was perceived that him and Chris Paul was almost neck and neck. But even though coming into the league with that kind of skill set, Jerry Sloan followed the old school method by making Deron Williams earn his spot. And again, this happened within the first few years after guys like Carmelo Anthony and LeBron came into the league with so much hype that they set the new standard of guys automatically getting the keys to the franchise. Deron Williams' rookie year only started about 28 games. And even the player that started in front of him when they got hurt, Jerry Sloan went to an additional backup and still chose not to start Deron Williams. There was already a lot of animosity built up. Deron Williams had a certain expectation as a third overall pick to get the same treatment as players coming into the league in his same position. Players drafted that high in the lottery, it started becoming the norm for them to instantly get the keys to the Ferrari. But the hierarchy conundrums continue as Raja Bell and Deron Williams spoke about how Jerry Sloan quit the team and just went straight into retirement. He did coach the Jazz for over 20 plus years and had plenty of success, ran a tight ship, but at the end of the day, he could not overcome the dynamics of the league, just a new generation of stars coming in with the expectations and certain entitlements to a degree. But that generational divide was so great, at the end of the day, it caused an old school, hard-nosed, successful coach to just call it a quits. And he's not a quitter, by the way. He's definitely not a quitter. But you guys check it out, and every once in a while, I'll check in.
Hey, what did he say when he said 1, 2, 3 that night?
Was it 1, 2, 3, good luck?
It was good luck. And we were all like, what?
Wait, so what happened? Wait, what happened?
So what happened is like we have these plays that are always run on specific sides of the court, right? Mm-hmm. And so Al Jefferson, he like literally likes one block better than the other. Like right. It's not even like a secret. And so I switched one play because I saw something and I was like, let's just try it. I was like, let's run it the other way.
Literally so same play on the opposite side of the floor.
I just switched it to the opposite side of the floor. Mm-hmm. And so we ran the play. And
got a bucket.
Yeah, I think we scored. And I didn't think nothing of it. And then we come in at halftime, and first thing out of Coach Sloan's mouth is like, you want to coach this team? And I'm like, what do you mean? I'm like, he's like, so he just he was upset about that. And I'm like, nah, man. I was like, you got it. I was like, you got the juice. I was like, you got it. I was like, and so he just kept on. And I'm like, I didn't know what to say. I was just like, I fucked up. My bad. And so he was like, our owner was there. He's like, Greg, can I talk to you? And I was like, I want to be there. So I walked with him, and he was like, basically like, I'm done. And I was like, no. I was like, just trade me. I was like, just trade me. That didn't have to happen. And we go back out on the court, lose the game to the Bulls, come back in, and he says the 1, 2, 3, good luck. And so
you knew it was done. You knew it was like it was over.
I mean, I didn't know. I didn't know what was going to happen in the morning.
Mm-hmm. So there's a wall between our locker room and the training room where you guys went to have that talk, right? Like you guys like went around the corner. So like you can't, it's to some degree inaudible, but you can hear the voices raising. So you know there's whatever. Like, but none of us knew. We couldn't have known at that time. We went out and played the whole second half. D, I don't know if you remember this, but like the second half, you guys didn't really talk. So like you would tell me, hey, go tell Jerry like this, and I will go over, and then Jerry would be, tell D Will we're gonna run this, and I'd be like, oh shit, all right. And I think so we did that. No one knew Logan. So at the end of the game, when he said good luck, we all literally looked at each other like, did he just say good luck?
That's crazy because I can only imagine during the early portion of Jerry Sloan's career where you have to talk to another player, Deron Williams would have instantly been suspended by the organization. Yeah, it shows you how times have definitely shifted from what Jerry Sloan was used to.
I still didn't know. I got to not shoot around. We had treatment the next morning, and I got to treatment like probably 20, 30 minutes like late, and he had already retired. Like he had already had a press conference and just kind of shut it down.
I mean, it was tough for me because, of course it was all, I got blamed for everything. So Here goes the most beloved coach that ever coached Utah, and I'm the blame. So it was tough. It was definitely tough.
See, for Deron Williams, unlike the situation with Carmelo just running out a few of the head coaches out in Denver, the main difference here is that the Utah Jazz at the time, they were owned and ran like a mom and pop. So that's why Jerry Sloan has such a long tenure. You're in a small market, there's more of a community feel to it, it's a mom and pop organization, and they see a beloved head coach that took them to the finals multiple times and had plenty of success through different variations of the team, all of a sudden just force himself into retirement. So this probably didn't sit well with ownership, and it's one of the reasons why eventually we've seen Deron Williams get shipped out of Utah.
And then I think what was it, like 4 or 5 games before All-Star break?
Yeah.
So I mean, I only had 5 more games in Utah, then I was gone.
Yeah.
So that's another clash of hierarchies with the coaches and superstars in the 2010s. And now we're going to fast forward to a more recent scenario, this time taking place in 2024, when former Hornets coach Steve Clifford had called out some of his players on being nonchalant on defense. And a lot of the entertainment side is starting to spill over onto the NBA court, especially with the addition of LaMelo Ball and his play style. So in this situation right here, we're seeing exactly how it is when a head coach doesn't necessarily have any power to change the bad habits of a team. You guys check it out, and every once in a while, I'll check in.
Let's be honest. I mean, it's why I was brought here, and to this point, I have failed pretty miserably, is we don't care enough about defense all the time. We're better than we were in some ways, but we're what do they say? We're a sometimes team. Sometimes we run back, sometimes we don't. Sometimes we care about guarding the ball, sometimes we don't. When the ball starts going in the basket, a lot of times we don't care about defense anymore. You'll never win. You might win games, you might have a decent year here and there. You'll never win. You'll never win a playoff series. You probably wouldn't win a playoff game. Those are the teams that get to the end of the year, and if they're talented enough to get to a playoff series, guess what? They get their asses kicked. You've got to defend in the NBA. There's never been a team, never, that's been good and had a playoff run that wasn't good defensively. And it's just, that's fact. I mean, look at every single year. Now, there have been teams that struggled offensively, going all the way back, and were really good on defense at one. But we've got to get that, and that's got to be a big, big part of what we do. Last year, the one thing I felt good about was, we had a stretch of 20 games after the All-Star break where we were second in defense. They bought in, we took it to the next level, and for whatever reason, we have not gotten anywhere close to that this year. But we've got whatever we have here, these 4 games left, then we can refresh a little bit and start again. This, trying to outscore people, it may be fun and fans might like to watch it. It'll never work. Just give me a team in the last 10 years. It never works. Those are the teams that get to the playoffs and you say, oh, we got to make some adjustments. It's not going to work. If you're not playing playoff basketball all year, guess what? And it's 4 out of 7, it's too late. So we might as well learn that now, before they get older.
Now that right there is a head coach with no power at all. Steve Clifford, unfortunately, even admits that the no defense play style, even though it's making teams money, it's not going to win. And as more new NBA owners come into the league, buying these teams for billions and billions of dollars, you have to wonder if they're not going to necessarily care if the valuation of the team keeps going up and they're barely winning any games and the money's still rolling in. A lot of the bad cultural habits that young players have coming into the league before they get polished is not being checked at the door. Carmelo Anthony even spoke on this because as of recently, it's gotten so unchecked that players at halftime are on their phones posting on social media. DeMar DeRozan spoke to Carmelo Anthony about the major cultural shifts that had happened while he was in the league from the beginning of his career to the middle to present day. You guys check it out, and every once in a while, I'll check in.
What's the biggest difference you've noticed in players today compared to when you came in the league in 09?
Motherfuckers getting on their phone, so worried about what's on their phone, what somebody say.
even to his point, I seen a motherfucker put his name in the Twitter search to see what they were saying.
Oh, vanity searching.
Damn, that's crazy.
Somebody who was actually playing them, like
Playing.
they was like getting minutes.
Yes. And I'm like, this to the point we at, you know what I mean? Like that was never a thought.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? When we
even
play.
for you, that wasn't a thought. Even worse for me.
That's what I'm
had
saying.
cell
Like,
phones and shit.
like no social media,
Hell
none
no.
of that. So
Niggas
it's
weren't
like-
checking their two-way pages and all that.
But to that point, is that like motherfuckers always ask me like, man, you can play another 4 or 5 years.
Shit.
But it's that part of the game that sucks the energy out of you because everybody so worried about everything else now instead of what it was built on, like your game, competing, winning, going out there, you know, giving everything you got. It's like everybody's so caught up in all the shit that don't matter anymore. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like when I'm wearing motherfuckers in the mirror, fixing this, doing that, exfoliating and all this shit. It's like
Exfoliating for the game is crazy. Exfoliating for the game is crazy.
Telling you, bro, like, from that standpoint, all that's done changed, and it's like everything used to built on wanting to compete, like the shit you do on the court. Now it's so much of everything you do off the court that seems much more important than anything.
The entertainment side of the game is spilling over onto the NBA court now. And that really starts at the youth level. There's a bunch of kids in these AAU tournaments. As soon as they score, they're looking for the camera to point at it and do a celebration dance. This shit is kind of getting out of control, but this is why Adam Silver is starting up a league in Europe, is which in a way will begin to become a backdoor for players to professionalize in the States at a young age. The really top of the top level talent that are age 13, 14, 15, they could possibly participate in the NBA's European League and play for all the youth club teams starting at age 13, 14, 15, and then have a direct line to get into the NBA because that league will be affiliated. So Adam Silver and the league in a way are beginning to control the pipeline for guys to get into the league. Because as the years go by, they don't want more and more players coming in and turning out like LaMelo Ball, no disrespect, just playing freestyle ball, and as soon as he plays a little bit of defense, he's injured. And also him being 5 years into his career, he has virtually no impact on the NBA.
This newer generation, right? It's such a disconnect between generations, especially in sports. So whereas though this generation could change the narrative on that.
Yeah.
The way that they stream now, right? All they have to do is go on there and do their own research. Stream the highlights, stream Pat Ewing, stream Mitch, what's my man name? Mitch Richmond. Like stream these guys. Sit there and watch old clips and do the same shit you would do if you streaming anything else. I guarantee you their perspective would be a lot different.
But just like Chauncey said.
But I start seeing them do that in music. I seen a young boy that was streaming. He went back to stream Nas because he was like, man, everybody keep talking about Nas.
I seen that.
He's like, let me go do my own research.
Right.
And he sat there and listened to the whole Nas shit. And he was like, yo,
this is crazy.
This is crazy. This is one of my new favorite rappers. I didn't even know that. This is a younger kid who's streaming. I think we can get to that.
Yeah, for sure.
If we allowed in this younger generation streaming.
We also...
And it's unfortunate for a star like Anthony Edwards to make comments that Michael Jordan was playing against a bunch of farmers in the 90s. It kind of shows you how some of the players of today are not necessarily savants at the game, even though they look up to guys like Kobe, who can name players at least 20 years before he got into the league and what they did and what made them special. This is normally where they craft certain portions of their game and try to apply it and even bring it up to a higher level in today's modern game.
We can get to that.
Yeah, for sure.
If we allowed in this younger generation streaming.
We also, they giving the bag so much younger. Like, they not worried about the superstars and the guys on the team or they just trying to get to the bag early. So they just trying to promote themselves. You know what I mean? Or they might look at somebody that might not be in the league and be like, oh, he nice, play one-on-one or whatever, and think of him like he's one, like we thought of the Mitch Richmonds. Which is...
I mentioned Mitch because Mitch was nice.
Yeah, he was. Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, Mitch is nice. T-Mac brought up Mel Tinsley.
Cold.
and people went crazy. No, but go really look at Mel Tinsley. And you'll see why Kyrie was inspired by somebody like Tinsley. Like, don't just jump out the window and say, nah, and debate some shit. Like, really go back and do some research and utilize your platform. You streaming everything else. My point is, there's certain people, and I mentioned very specific names. There's certain players from all of them old eras that you can still respect, whether the game was different or not.
Of course,
You respect the skill set. It's a lot of niggas back in the day who got skill sets that could translate into any era. So I'm saying go back and look at that. Fuck watching the how slow, the Bob Cousy dribbling left with the right. You know what I'm saying? But you can respect the art. You can respect the skill set that a lot of these players had that don't get the attention that they deserve. So that's I just like to connect the dots.
And those players of the past didn't have the freedom that the players of today have, with the shot selection, how fast the game is, the freedom of movement. A lot of today's play styles will be considered violations. Something as simple as a spin move, or even just fumbling the ball for a split second on a fast break. Let's say someone passes it to you and you just fumble it for a quick second. That would be considered a travel. But it is what it is. This was a nice little timeline to see the intersection between coaches going down the pecking order in the NBA hierarchy. I would say back in the day, it was the head coach, then the superstar, then co-star. Today, it's the superstar, co-star, then head coach. And we could pinpoint the year 2003 when LeBron came into the league as when those powers intersected. They actually met at the same point, but the player side of that spectrum was actually going uphill and the coach's powers were actually going downhill. As money continues to come into the NBA from whether it be media or streaming or even the inflation of just NBA franchises being worth billions, it's only going to skew these dynamics even further in the superstar player's direction. But we'll see how they handle it. Hopefully it doesn't mess around too much with the level of competition. That's something that Adam Silver in the NBA will have to juggle.